Right. So, you mentioned something about you don't have the kids no more.
Yeah, so currently they're living with him more than they're with me, and I haven't seen my son since July 2020.
Okay. And
At all.
I nanny at their school, and so I have seen glimpses of him maybe about four
I'm
times.
confused. I'm confused. You said you don't have your kids.
Yeah, so currently we are going through court proceedings. Um, do you want to start like
Yeah, no,
reason
no, no.
why?
So
Yeah.
how for one, how does he even have the kids full time?
Yeah.
That's why I'm confused. How has he got the kids full
So
time?
he so we weren't getting along, plenty of dramas from the period of time when we started being on WhatsApp again, and he kept being late, not kind of respecting the boundaries, and it came to a head one evening when he brought our son back at 10:30 at night, and I was really annoyed, and we ended up having an argument, big argument, and it was in front of my son, and that night he took our son that night.
So he told his son, "Come here, son. You're coming back to my house."
Get in the car, we're off. Yeah.
And that was just your son, not your daughter.
No,
Just
my daughter was still with me.
You try to stop him.
I couldn't. So my son saw us arguing, and he was like, "No, he's a good dad." And then he ran down the road, and my ex drove off, and he got in to get in the car, and they got in the car. This was July, 3rd of July, 2020, and I had my daughter, and they hadn't seen each other for about a week, maybe 2 weeks. And I never separate my children, the younger two. They go to the dads, they come to me, they're always together. And I knew that he liked to be with my son way more. And I thought, look, if he takes the youngest, he's not going to want to have both of them. So let him just collect her like normal. But during this period, we were like back and forth in emails.
Let me just stop. So he took he took the first kid, yeah. So he took your son, right? How long did he have your son before he took your daughter?
2 weeks.
So he kept your son for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
right? So he's been with your son for 2 weeks. At any point, you thought that your son was going to come back within that time?
Yeah, so I kept messaging, all my family were messaging him saying, look, what's going on? Bring my son back. And he was like, look, he's upset with me, you the mum, and he'll calm down, and maybe he'll want to see you soon. And I just thought, what do you mean? You know, we've had an argument, you and me. You were a part of it too, so why should you not be seeing him? Why should you be seeing him and I shouldn't be? But I thought, if he has the youngest, he's not going to want to have them both. It's hard work. And he said, can he have her? And I said yes, thinking, yeah, she can go. And she went, and then they both didn't come back for a month, and I didn't speak to them for a whole month.
So hold on. He had the first one for 2 weeks. He convinced you to give you the second child. Then he takes the second child, and he then doesn't give them back to you.
Yeah.
You didn't think to yourself, if he can't return back your son after 2 weeks, why should I give him the girl child?
Because
She wants to keep them together.
Yeah.
And sorry, do you know what? Sorry.
No, you're right.
No, you
You're
can say
right.
your
Exactly.
piece.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't want to separate my children, and it's a novelty having the son. They watch football together. They play PlayStation. Having her there is an inconvenience. He's said to me, "Oh, she's hard work." She's not, but he finds it hard work, and now it's the biggest decision I've made that I regret. But I thought if he has both of them, he's not going to cope, and he will give them both back.
Alright, so you said that you didn't see them from after a month. Alright, so you haven't seen them for a month. Did he return them back after that month?
No, so I had to put in the court papers because we were going back and forth.
So did you go down to his house and try and get your kids back? Like, did you not?
No, so for me, this time, we've had arguments before. I've gone to his house and done all that. I didn't want to do that because we had that argument that day. I didn't want to then go and be shouting.
Has he been violent to you in the past?
I rate you still. Nah, I rate her. Do you know why? See me, I would have gone there, and that's what I think it would have fucked up. I think you not going there and being the man, give me my kid, like all of that. Mm-hmm. In a way, I think it might work out better for you. I'm just thinking, if it was me, yeah, I'm gonna be the nutty one. I'm gonna go there, kicking the door.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah,
has he been violent to you in the past?
Yes, but. Yes.
Okay, so he's been violent to you in the past. Was that?
But it wasn't the reason why I didn't go. He's good with his words, and he's good with being manipulative towards me. I'm not afraid of him. He's not a violent man. He has put his hands on me before.
So when he took the kids, hasn't returned them, did you not phone the police first to tell them that your child hadn't come back home?
Okay, so when he took my daughter, it was like a couple of days later. And I spoke to her and she was like, I want to come home, Mummy. Can I come home? That night I messaged him saying, look, she said she wants to come home. Can she just come home? Fine, keep our son, but can you just give her back now? And he just ignored me. My mum messaged him. He ignored my mum, my sister, my brother. Everyone messaged him, my friends. And I started to get the panic. And then a friend of mine who works for Children's Services said to me, you can do a police check. And it's called a welfare check. Where you get the police to go around there and check they're okay. Yeah. And I knew that he was going to be at work. I just know he's kind of pattern. Yeah. And the police did go and some girl was there.
So you contacted the police.
Because you see with the welfare check, if they had gone there and he had answered, the kids could actually stay there. If he'd answered and said the kids are fine, they're my kids, they can't do nothing.
But that's what I'm trying to find out. That is there joint custody with the kids where it was agreed that you have them maybe half of the week and he has them half of the week?
Yeah. So once you're on birth certificate, as you know, you have the same rights as the mother. I didn't know this until then. And if he wants to keep them, he can keep them. There's no law that says I should have them. Yes, the natural kind of way is the mum has the child more often, but yeah, he decided that he wasn't going to give them back, and I now know that he got my son to write a letter, and he said something like, my mum is really angry and she shouts a lot, and I want to live with my dad. Please believe me. He actually said, to a T, he said, my mum was enraged and she shouted at my dad because we just came back a little bit late, and my mum's not nice and my dad is calm and I want to live with my dad. Please believe me.
And your daughter?
She didn't say anything to the police at the time.
So when the police came, he told that story to the police officer.
Yeah, he showed the note to the police officer, and they're obviously well. He's a decent guy. His house is well. They had food. It's a welfare check. They're not neglected. So the police said there's nothing we can do about it. And I was like, but he's keeping them away from me. I haven't seen my children, and my daughter wants to come home. And they said, unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about it. And so that's when I knew.
That's nuts.
I've got to go to court.
So what we see in here is that as long as you're on the birth certificate, the father's on the birth certificate, you have the same rights.
Which is good.
The mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is good, but I don't want to be using this platform for man to start kidnapping their kids.
Yeah, but you can.
That makes sense.
But it's not kidnap. It's not kidnap.
It's not though.
They're your children.
It's a welfare check. It's as you say, if the police can go there and see that, okay, cool, the child's fine. There might be a disagreement between the parents. They don't know who is in the right or who is the wrong, but the child is actually fine. So they can stay.
No, that part I get, but I think the fact that there's rights, as much as fathers have the same rights as mums, basically.
Yeah.
What we are seeing here today.
Yeah.
All right. You're both on the birth certificate. You gave him the kids. Right? So as far as they're concerned, he hasn't come to your house, took them without your consent. You've actually gone, said, to stay at your house for the few days,
Yeah.
whether they was meant to go there for.
Yeah.
He's turned back and told you they ain't coming back, right? Because he's got as much rights as you.
Yeah.
And if you want them back, you have to take me to court, basically.
He didn't say that.
I was gonna. Did he say? Yeah. Sorry.
No,
So
he
did he
just
say?
said, from the argument we've had, he's not happy with you, and when he's ready, he might come round, but until then, I think it's best you just leave us. And I was like, no, that's not right. I said, he knows I love him, and he needs to come home. And I was like, fine, it's fine. You can keep him. And then there's me thinking, I'll give him my daughter as well, and then he won't be able to cope. No,
I'll be honest. I'm gonna be honest. That was a mad move, still.
100%.
But we moved from that.
No, but I wouldn't have done that. No disrespect, right? If he can't return back the first child, the second child ain't going down it.
Yeah, but for
obviously you
me,
had your reasons.
my children are
No,
close together, and I thought,
obviously you said that you want your kids to be together because they're very close, and I understand that, and I get that. Rick's telling you what he rates what you done because that's what you want to happen. You're thinking for your kids, right? Personally, if that was me, I'm saying if the first one can't come, you ain't getting a second one.
yeah,
But you done it based on, for one, they're close, and for second, he will find it hard to cope with the two. So you're looking at he returning back quicker than you thought.
yeah,
But it's now kind of like it's backfired.
It's backfired. I was going to
100%.
say that, yeah.
You get me?
100%.
Because he's now got the both of them,
and he's just not.
and he's not even releasing. He's not even turning around saying, "All right." So going back to the police done the welfare check. They told you that the kids are cool. Your son's written a letter,
Yeah,
right? After your son's written a letter, your daughter's saying she wants to come home, but still can't come home.
yeah.
What stage did we get to after a letter's been written when the police done welfare check, telling you they're cool, but they ain't coming back?
So this was like the Sunday, I remember, done the welfare check, and then all week, that week, I'd contact him regularly and say, well, I'm going to court this time. Please, can you make the children available to speak to me? He would ignore me. Every email I sent, he'd ignore me. He then would reply back and say something like, you need to get help. You need serious help. Our son is not happy with you, what you did, and you need to go and get help. And I say, just give him back the daughter. Fine, you want to keep him, not a problem. Just give him back my daughter. I spoke to her on the telephone. She was crying. She wants to see her mummy. Just give her back. Didn't want to give her back. So by the Thursday, I put an application in to court to get an urgent hearing.
Did you do any research first before you went down that road?
So not much. I've got a friend who works for Children's Services,
Okay, wicked.
and I had a friend who worked for a company called Kafkas, which is basically the court side of social services.
Okay.
And she was like, "Look, fill this form out, and you'll get an urgent hearing, and you should get contact with your children again." So I put it in on a Thursday, and I got given a date for August. During that period, I got an application in from him, so he put one in just after me.
So you put an application in first to get to see your kids.
Yeah,
And then a few days later, because he's now noticed that you've done one.
he put one in.
So do you feel that someone is schooling him as well?
Yeah, so I believe that the woman that was looking after my children was telling him what to do. He'd always randomly say to me like, "Yeah, I can go to court." I said, "Go on then. It's not a problem. I don't understand. You're seeing your children as and when you want. What's the problem here?" He never did it. And then suddenly I've gone. Now you've gone. So we've both got applications in, and we're waiting for this urgent hearing. But during this period of time, there's no contact with the children. Their iPads are switched off.
So he doesn't think that he's harming his own kids from doing this.
Do you know? Okay, cool. Not being on his side. Obviously, he wants his son. Your son half wants to be there. So.
Yeah.
But your daughter, obviously, upset, wanted to come home. Bro, let her go home, bro.
He's traumatizing.
Yeah, when she did come back, she said, "I forgot what you look like." She said, "I forgot what you look like."
All right. So before she came back, how did you get her back? So when you both of you got your application forms in.
Yeah.
At August, when you got the hearing, what happened in that hearing?
So I had a solicitor at the time for that one, and she said, "You won't get them back full time." She said it's a short hearing. It was only like listed for half an hour.
Was this done in online?
Yeah.
Because
so,
I know the courts were closed at these times because of COVID.
Yeah, so we did it online, and she said you won't get your children back. She said so you have to come up with some sort of negotiation. And I just thought, because he had put an application in and his court date was going to be September and mine was August, I said to her, okay, I'll do like 3-4 days. And she went, that sounds really good. She said, why don't you do Friday to Monday? And I thought, that's fine. You know, that way he knows I'm not really arguing much with him and I get to still see them. So I did Friday from 12 to Monday to 12. And she went, I think that'd be really good for you because this hearing is not going to go through, you're not going to be able to dispute things. You have to just kind of say, we're going to agree to this until something changes. So I said, yeah, Friday to Monday. I'll have both of the children, and then the next hearing in September, we can work through what his issues are. He later then cancelled that September hearing, and the next court date was then for November. I was having, the judge agreed that was fine, Friday to Monday, and I was supposed to have both the children, and he only gave me my daughter.
Okay.
And he never gave me my son.
So, when you done the paperwork, did you ask for both to come back, or was it just?
Oh yeah.
So you asked for both.
Yeah. He agreed in court to both.
So, if he agreed and the judge okayed it and said to send the kids back, you're doing it the days you're going to do, and he's doing the days he's doing. Why is it when he sent the kids back, he only sent one? Can't he not get in trouble for doing that? So he's schooling. So you're just saying there's someone in his circle, who seems to be schooling him because he seems to know every loophole.
Yeah.
What to say for what? So
even though he's told he should be seeing his mum, he was able to keep him back, and he's kept him back since.
So do you think that he's painting a bad picture to your son of you, for your son to be responding?
100%. He's demonised me to my son. In courts, he has been saying my son's so terrified of me and I'm dangerous, but he lets me have my daughter Friday to Monday overnight unsupervised.
So you're allowed to have your daughter.
Yep.
But the son will never come down.
Yeah. So during the process, as you had another person on ages ago, and he said during court there was allegations. So what I've learnt is that people bring up allegations about you.
Fake ones sometimes.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The child's father, the one you seem to be going battle with, he's obviously his culture. He comes back from he's a white person basically.
Yeah.
So do you find that changed anything when you was in court to the way how they pursued you, like as a black woman?
Yeah, I feel like the agencies that we've been working with, children's services, the school, are treating me different. I feel like it's me, angry black woman, because I'm angry and shout at my children, and he's the calm white man. So yeah, I do think that is, although they haven't seen us fully, but there is this understanding, and the fact that my children are mixed race. Yeah.
And how was his mother? How's his mum? What's your relationship with the mum? His mum?
I don't get along with her. Our relationship was very much three people, me, him, and her, and him being her only child. I feel like she's just a bit too overprotective. He even said it in some documents that he said about his mum, that she was overprotective. She wants my children for herself. Her partner died a couple of years back. She doesn't have much for herself. She doesn't have anything else. Yeah, so she wants my children. And currently now with the COVID, she's got something to do.
Was it just family wise? Was it just him and the mum, or was there any other?
No dad. Apparently grew up with his grandparents for a time, and then they passed away. But it was just him and his mum. But he went off the rails when he was about 14. She kicked him out, and since then he's lived by himself and fended for himself. He kind of went down a bad road, and now they're like thick as thieves. She stays at his house with the kids. She's the enabler here. She is looking after the children when he's.
So do you think she's the one who's controlling all the strings? So when you can and can't, or you reckon it's all coming from him, or it's coming from the other person he's with?
I reckon it's him controlling
the whole
everyone
thing.
else. Yeah. And I think she feels bad because of the past. So she's just doing what he wants. And also, she's a mother at the end of the day, and as a mother, I think you would do for your child. I personally wouldn't do what she's doing, but I think most mothers would, stand by their children.
I want to go back to this court thing now, because you was talking about there seems to be a lot happening in court. So the stage where I think we left at was you got your daughter, where you see her
Every weekend.
Your son doesn't come back. All right. What has happened from that situation after?
So the court have been saying to the dad, you need to make sure that he has a relationship with the family, and including his mother, whether it be indirect or direct, and he has to think creatively about how to do that. I've thought creatively, sent my son a quiz, sent him envelopes, stamps, books, everything you can think of I've sent, and he just doesn't get him to write back or call or anything. It is literally like a block. The last time I spoke to him prior to yesterday was the 17th of December. My daughter was speaking about some advert on TV, and he piped up and he went, "Oh no, Mum," and he started talking in the background. And then I asked him what he wants for Christmas, got him some gifts. Didn't speak to him Christmas Day. They both called. He called about 1:00. They spoke to my youngest, said Merry Christmas. Didn't speak to me or my oldest daughter. And I just thought, you're getting her back at 4:00. Why did you need to call and do that? I just think he's really spiteful. I don't understand why someone would want to do this to me, to anyone. And my
it's like
son.
it's one big game.
Yeah.
I was going to say something, but I actually lost what I was going to say.
That's cool. So now you're doing the whole court thing. How financially are you keeping paying? Like, financially, are you paying out of your own pocket, or are you getting help with that?
So initially I had some money aside, and that covered a few costs with the solicitor I had back then. Then I represented myself for a few hearings. But I found when I represented myself, he had a barrister, and his barrister just wiped the floor on me. You don't know the terms that they're using. I'm being bamboozled. So I then had to get a barrister again, and my mum helped me. And then when it came to the fact-finding hearing that we had in February, beginning of Feb, I didn't have the money. So my friend set up a GoFundMe for me.
Okay.
And the next hearing's coming up. In order to get the barristers I've still got the GoFundMe going because it's expensive.
Hold on. We're going to get to the GoFund part, yeah? You said that in the beginning you paid for someone to represent you, right?
Yeah, that you can get some solicitors and barristers on a fixed fee.
Yeah.
And this particular solicitor I had, she was on a fixed fee, so it was I wouldn't say cheap, but it was cheaper than what I've spent up to now.
And then when you stopped using her, was that because your money ran out, so you had to represent yourself?
Yeah.
So when you was now representing yourself, you then went to court.
Yeah.
He had a barrister.
Yeah.
And that barrister basically destroyed you because
Yeah,
you didn't obviously understood the terms and knowing the legal side to it.
100%, yeah. And they came back with things. So this is when he came with the allegation of
Playing everyone.
Yeah.
Playing the system, playing everyone.
Yeah.
But he's also gotten her to a point where he's now made her run out of money.
Yeah,
Where
she
he's
can't
still
do
got
nothing. It's nuts.
where he's still got hold of the kids. So obviously, because you now don't have the money, that's also having a bigger impact on obviously home life now with your daughter, with your other daughter who you have part time.
Yeah.
Right. So now dealing with all of that, that's also causing another stress now.
100%.
Because anyone who doesn't have money and you're still trying to fight for your kids, you're obviously.
Well, I was gonna give up. So in December.
I was just about to say, do you ever feel like thinking, fuck it?
Yeah, I did. I've had really low moments, like where I just think I've kind of. My mental health has been bad. I question my parenting. He's making me question myself. He sends me really horrible emails. He abuses me in the emails. He's really condescending. He makes me question everything about my life. And I'm low. I don't have my child. I don't have my children. And yeah, I was going to give up in December, and my friend said, no, we're going to do this GoFundMe for you. And I was like, no, I don't want to do it because everyone's going to know my story. And she said, but why should you feel embarrassed?
100%.
You know, you're fighting for your children, and regardless of what he's saying, he should be letting you have at least a phone conversation.
At least. So let's talk about this GoFund now, because I think how much do you have to raise in order to get you to continue fighting, basically?
So I have another 3 hearings coming up, and I had a barrister the last time, and they charge like $3,000 a day. Usually a hearing might be like $2,000 or something.
Yeah.
Because you got to do the paperwork, you got to do position statements, you got to speak to them, they've got to get up to date with your bundle. So you have like a bundle of previous hearings, of statements that you've put together, and evidence that they've got to read. So they charge a lot of money, and I feel that when you don't have a barrister or solicitor, you are at a disadvantage if the other person's got it.
100%.
If the other person hasn't, then you're fine. And also the allegations, the fact that there are allegations of abuse, so to speak, it becomes really hard.
So,
Do you think because he's a white guy as well, do you think that when he's saying some of these allegations that they're taking him on board because of your colour?
Yeah, so my son spoke to Children's Services and did tell them, you know, my mum shouts at me. And the school as well, he had a music lesson, and there was a song playing that reminded him of me, and he got really upset, and he spoke about me then to the school, and then the school wrote this down, and then they shared it with the dad.
So what we're saying is, if you can't raise the money, you can't go court.
I can, and I will. I will do it regardless if I don't have the money, because I have to. I have to fight for my children. I have to show them that, you know, mum's still here. But it's hard because you're faced with people who don't know you. They're white middle class. I'm not uneducated. You know, I'm an intelligent woman. But when you're emotional and when you're distressed and you're anxious, you don't represent yourself really well. So that barrister is removed from it so they can represent you well.
Of course, he's doing his job as well. You have to remember, that's his job. He does that every single day. So for him, it's nothing. Yeah. He probably walk in, see you by yourself, and he's probably laughing in his head, thinking, "This is easy. Get out of here, an hour." And it's mad, like, to think that, in a way, for the dads, I like it that your name's on the birth certificate, and you got the same rights.
But he's playing the card wrong.
100%. And that's what I'm saying. I didn't want to ask you earlier on of his colour because I didn't think that was an issue.
And it shouldn't be an issue.
It shouldn't.
But in society,
and what's going on in your case, and what's been said as well, I think, the hitting and the shouting.
The angry black woman.
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, it's
mad. Listen, we need to wrap this up, people, because this has been a sticky situation. All right. What I will say is, listen, do you see the GoFundMe page? To everyone who's watching, we're gonna put the link in the description, and if anyone can help in any way, we would like you to help if you can, even if it's a £5, £2, whatever you can give. All right. The closer we can get to getting her kids back, or at least helping her to fight to get her kids back. We like that from you lot. So we're going to put the link in the description for you. I can see your brethren behind you. She's been in tears through the beginning to end on this whole, since we've been doing this conversation today on the pod. She's sitting there and I'm just like, I can't even look at her because it's touching me, blood. You get me? And she's just
not nice.
She's just been in tears from beginning to end since we pressed record. So it's been a hard one.
My feeling with the situation is no matter what you think about my parenting, why would you want to cut a child from the whole family? I just don't get it. And to send one child, not the other, and you just, to me, I just feel like he's fucking him up so badly. And to hear him yesterday talk the way he spoke, I just thought, please.
So
possibly, hopefully, I don't know if this could run.
no, what was you gonna say?
If you could maybe, once everything's gone on, maybe come back on.
Yeah, we'd like that to happen. Definitely like that to happen, to find out how the story went. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So look, I want you to look into that camera there, right? And just, what would you want to say? One, to the father. What would you like to send? What message would you like to send to him right now?
I just want him to stop. I want him to stop. I want you to understand that you're hurting the children, and long term, you're just affecting their lives. They don't need this. You know, just because you're upset with me, it's not to take it on them. And a son needs their mother just as much as they need their father. So yeah, I just ask him to stop.
You know what we want to say to your kids?
Don't.
In your own time.
Yesterday when I spoke to my son, my major fear in life working with young people is I don't want my son to grow up and be like on the roads or anything like that. I want him to do well, and I feel like this situation is gonna mess him up so badly where he's not gonna know who he is. His dad's moved him away. They moved out of London, and I couldn't stop that. And he's with like all these people that are not like him, and I just pray that he can remain level-headed and understand that I'm still here. And I hope that like he spends time with his sister again, because she misses him too.
Okay.
Yeah, it's bad.
I think as he'll get older, they both get older.
Yeah.
100% they will know what you've done, what you're doing. 1,000,000% what you've gone through.
I hope, but it's not comfort now. Like everyone says, he'll grow up and he'll see his dad for what he is.
That's the hardest part too.
I know.
Yeah, I'm worried. And the lockdown, him just being in the house with them, they're demonising me, and they're not. He's not going to speak to anybody, and how do you come back from this?
Like you said, people like him, and he's fair enough. He's mixed race, but he's half black.
Yeah,
so he needs to be around the culture and
understand where he comes from and understand himself.
Yeah,
you get me?
It's not fair. I just think this is blown out of proportion, and fine, he can live with his dad, not a problem. I've said to him, he can live with you, it's fine. Just can I see him every other weekend? Yeah. And he said no.
Alright, listen up, people. So once again, because she's S is very emotional, so I think we need to just stop it from where it is. Please, we've got the description and the link for the GoFund. So if we can add to that, please help however you can. I also want to hear your lot's comments. Please subscribe to the channel. I think out of all the baby fathers, this must be one of my hardest ones. I'm not even gonna lie, blood. You get me? 'Cause I've got tears in my eyes. I'm trying to hold back. You understand? And I'm not even lying. This whole studio's freaking quiet right now, blood. Even the cameraman. You understand? So
and the camera assistant. The camera assistant's never quiet. Never.
Something to say to you. And obviously, as I said, your friend's been there. She's in a bad way from the beginning to end. But listen, people, we're gonna sign off on this one. And we will keep you updated as well on this whole story here, because it's still an ongoing story. And from the baby fathers, we hope that you do get your kids back. We do hope the father behaves himself after all of this. And if not, we can send some man down there for you.
I'll be happy with a letter, even just a letter back. Yeah.
Some form of communication.
Just regular.
Alright, Pete, listen.
We out.
We're gone, boy. That's mad, fam.